Hello my loves and welcome to the Perfume Realm. My name is Manahil and today I'm going to be doing a collab video with my gorgeous friend Maite. But before we get started, I just wanted to say, if you're interested in joining the realm, I highly suggest clicking the subscribe button as well as the bell notification so you can stay up to date on everything that is happening here. When you guys subscribe to me, you are supporting me and you're helping me grow, and I truly appreciate every single person who subscribes. Now let's get into the video. So Maite and I were bouncing ideas off of each other and we finally came to the perfect video concept, and we decided that we're going to share 10 fragrances that are redemption fragrances. Basically, this means that the fragrances that we are talking about are ones that during our first encounter with them, we did not hit it off, and then later on in our noses they redeemed themselves. So that is what the concept of the video is. But there is a little catch to this video, and basically I'm going to be sharing here 5 redemption fragrances from my collection. But if you want to see the other 5 to complete the 10 redemption fragrances, you're going to have to go over to Maite's channel and watch her video. She's going to share 5 from her collection that are redemption fragrances. So I highly recommend going over to her channel and checking it out, because I am telling you, Maite, not only is she beautiful, but she also has an incredible taste in fragrances. She specifically really loves indie fragrances, which is perfect for me because it's a great way for me to hear about these indie perfumers that not a lot of people talk about, and it really helps bring them up to me, brings my attention towards them. Not only does she love indie fragrances, but just in general, her taste is very unique, and she often likes not often, but a lot of the fragrances that she talks about are very strong, powerful scents. And it's very refreshing to go over to her channel and watch her videos, because I'm telling you, she always talks about perfumes that I feel are never talked about enough, or often, like are so masculine or unisex that like female fragrance reviewers don't talk about them. So I really appreciate that she does that, because she has opened my eyes to so many new fragrances and perfumers. So I'm always very thankful to her for doing that. So I'm telling you, if you're done with the mundane content here on my channel, go over to Maite. She is going to give you a fresh perspective on fragrances, and you will just love her personality as well. Okay, so the first fragrance that I have to share is Lunifying. So this is a newer fragrance in my collection, and I have to tell you, when I first received it, I was really thrown off. I was expecting, a dark vanilla fragrance, because that is what everyone says. They do say that it has cardamom in it, so I was expecting the cardamom. But I was not expecting what I received. When I first smelled this, it smelled like a straight up pollutant. Like, it smelled like polluted air to me, like tar and smoke, and just very strange. It was a little bit overwhelming for me, definitely, and it's a very strong fragrance. So I sprayed this on my skin and I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna go through the whole testing thing with it. So I just put it back in the box and figured I would either give it to my friend or my aunt, because they both really like darker fragrances. But this fragrance redeemed itself in my eyes like very quickly, as in the next time I decided to actually wear it. So yeah, the first time I wore it, it was just so overwhelming and strong, and like just, I don't know, like off. I don't know if I should say like synthetic. It just smelled like polluted air. Even the sweetness of the vanilla and the cardamom was just kind of adding this weird nauseating factor to it, and it was so overwhelming. So I decided to scrub it. So this literally started off as a scrubber for me. But the second time that I decided to wear it, because it was just sitting there in the box, and I was like, okay, you know what? Why not give it another try? Like, why am I being such a baby? I know how fragrances go. I know that it's not always like an instant love. You have to spend time with the fragrance. Sometimes you have to sleep on it and really you know, I don't know, come closer to it and bond with it before you really love it. Just like poetry sometimes. I think with a really beautiful poem, sometimes it's actually really hard to understand the first time around. So you read it, you go to sleep on it, you think about it a little bit, and eventually you really come to understand it and love it. So Lunifying did that for me. Really quick, so when I first saw the name Lunifying, I kind of just used my deductive reasoning skills and figured loon was like Luna or lunar, so it meant moon, and then feline was probably like feline, so something to do with a cat. And I decided to look it up right before this video, and I was right. It does mean moon feline or moon cat, and that makes me super sad because if you are new to my channel, you don't know this, but I have or had a cat named Mochi that I loved to death. Like, he was my son and I adored him. I had him ever since he was a little kitten, and he's this beautiful, majestic, dark black cat with the silkiest fur coat. Okay, enough. I'm gonna get really emotional. I loved Mochi, but I had to give him away for specific reasons. But it makes me sad because I used to have photo shoots with Mochi and my perfume, and this would have been perfect to pair with him. But the name is actually perfect because there is a very dark side to this perfume. To me, it smells like somebody who decided to wear a really expensive, high quality, golden vanilla fragrance, like just really high quality, and they decided to take a little stroll through a Moroccan spice bazaar, and all of those really aromatic spices, the really beautiful rich aromatic spices, decided to or began to kind of combine with the vanilla fragrance, added this cloak of spicy character. But as this person keeps walking, they decide to leave the bazaar and go over to someone's house to smoke some hookah. So now there's that really beautiful, expensive vanilla scent, and it is combined with that spiciness from the bazaar. And then it is combined with the thick smoke of a hookah, or hookah, I guess that's how you say it here. So just combine all of those different scents, all of those different little things, and that is what the scent is. So it definitely has a very dark character to it. The ambergris in here is definitely prominent. Like, you can smell the ambergris right away. There is definitely this kind of animalic touch to it with a little bit of saltiness. It's very interesting. So like I'm saying, a Moroccan spice bazaar, and try to think of a more comprehensive spice bazaar. Think of one that has these spices, and then as you keep going, there's people who are selling, you know, fish and seafood, and then there are people who are selling like meat, and then there are, you know, dogs and cattle in the streets. You know, all of those smells, those very animalic scents, as well as that kind of saltiness. So in a way it is polluted air, but not in a gross way, not like gross city polluted air. So I have a huge appreciation for this fragrance now. It was actually my scent of the day today. I think it is very unique, and I don't really think it's a safe blind buy. To me, it was actually quite challenging. I know that a lot of people find this, you know, beautiful right off the bat, but for me, it was definitely a redemption fragrance. The reason I decided to pick this up, I had seen it so many times and I kept pushing it away. But then my friends Takara, MJ, and Janae, who all have YouTube channels, they were all talking about how much they enjoy this scent. So I decided to cave in and buy it. And I was really disappointed, thinking I made a bad blind buy, but in reality, it redeemed itself. All right, the next perfume that I have is Parfait de Roses. So this one is a lot less challenging than Lunifying, yet it still kind of threw me for a loop and really took me on a trip. And I did not love this at first. I had ordered this, and then after ordering it, I found people saying that it smelled similar to Lancome's Tresor Midnight Rose, and it really made me sad because I did not like that scent at all. In fact, I think I gave it to Anna because it wasn't working for me. It was too jammy and synthetic and weird, and I just didn't enjoy it. So when I first smelled this scent Parfait de Roses, I definitely got this kind of jammy, overly sweet type of rose, and almost kind of nauseated me a little bit. So Lunifying and this scent, both of them I had a very visceral reaction to. And another reason it could be is because this scent smells to me like ruafsa, which is basically a rose flavored syrup that is put into water and milk and desserts as flavoring, and is very commonly used in Pakistan and the Middle East. So to me, it smelled like that, which is a scent that I typically really like. But the last time I had ruafsa, I had gotten really sick kind of right afterwards, and it had nothing to do with the actual ruafsa drink that I had been drinking, but I associated it with that taste. And so for a while I was a little bit like put off with the smell of ruafsa, which was once a scent that I really loved. But anyways, after wearing it a few times, I actually kind of had a therapeutic reaction with this one, because this perfume is the reason that I decided to go back and start drinking ruafsa again. I don't drink it regularly, it's usually during Ramadan and everything, but after this one I was able to actually go back and drink it and fall in love with it again. All of those memories of like those happy childhood memories associated with the drink started coming back to me, and I was no longer really like nauseated by it, and I was no longer nauseated by the scent anymore either. And so now I'm actually head over heels in love with it. I found it less jammy than I first perceived. It actually has a really nice powdery element to it as well. It's really like melted Turkish delight, but minus any of the nutty facets within it. So it's a very rose forward, rose centric Turkish delight with the powdered sugar on top and everything. So it's a beautiful scent, and it redeemed itself in my eyes, so it is definitely a redemption fragrance. Alright, next up we have one that might surprise you guys, and it is Lympica. So the reason this scent is a redemption fragrance, it's not as extreme as the other two. I didn't like hate it when I first smelled it. I was just a little bit disappointed because I thought it was going to be sweeter and more magical when I first smelled it, because people are obsessed with this scent. Like, it has a very loyal cult following. So I thought it was going to be magical, but in a very different sense, where I later on found magic in it, but not in the way I thought it was going to. I thought it would be sweeter. I thought that there would be a little bit more of this floral aspect that I was going to pick up on, but I really got more of a bitter edge to it. And I think it came from the licorice, and it just was like kind of a bitter and bland and not super exciting fragrance. So anyways, I really didn't give this scent the time of day. It's not like I was disgusted or revolted and just didn't want to spray it. I just kind of was like, whatever, and kind of overlooked the scent. So one day I decided to finally really wear it and give it a little bit of attention, and I really ended up falling for it. Like, I genuinely really love this, and this is because it reminds me of a very specific time in my life. So this to me smells like the forest. To me, it smells like the forest. There is a little bit of the sweet florals. There's a little bit of greenery. There's a little bit of dirt and mud and just all of these really fresh, natural type of elements in here. And to me, it reminds me of when my friends and I would go kind of off the path. We would go on trails and sometimes go off the path. We would end up kind of exploring, going through a thicket of like just twigs and branches and leaves and all these different things, right? We're like crunching through them. We're in very tall grass, and we might come across like a creek or a pond. I remember there was one place called Hidden Lakes, and when you go off the path, we found our own little like watering hole. It was just this mini little area with this tiny trickling waterfall, and I remember then we would end up going there sometimes to hang out, me and my friends. There was also one area where me and my best friend went, and we were just exploring off the path. path and, you know, going through the thicket, going through all of the brush and the branches and, you know, even the little, I don't know what they're called, the little burrs, the little things that get like stuck to you, all of that. We were going through all of that just to explore, and we actually found an abandoned like fort. Like somebody had built a fort in the middle of this basically forest area. I don't know who it was. It was clearly some children, but it was like a really well-made fort, and it was kind of, you know, dilapidated. It had been some time since it had gotten any love or, you know, been fixed up. But I remember we were so excited when we found this. It was just kind of a crazy thing. But anyways, totally went off track. This scent is magical because it reminds me of all of that. It reminds me of the nature and the smell of the florals, and basically just the smell of a forest with a little bit of florals. So like a forest in the springtime, there's a little bit of sweetness in there. It's just not a lot of it. So this was a big time redemption fragrance. All right, so the next redemption fragrance is Tom Ford Noir Femme. So this one might surprise you guys because it is a very, very well-loved perfume, and it is one that I really enjoy now as well. So you're like, when did you not like it? When I first received it, I have realized that a lot of times past experiences can often kind of dictate the way that you end up feeling about a fragrance, and sometimes it has little to do with the actual scent because the memory attached to it or associated with it is negative, and so you're just not able to enjoy the fragrance. Now, I didn't have a negative memory per se. However, when I first got this, I really thought it was going to be this luxurious, thick, gourmand that's kind of smoky and dark, and it has the kulfi in it. So I really thought it was going to be a lot more dense, and it actually wasn't dense at all. But the reason I kind of had that, I don't know, negative association with it is because it has a very strong smell of incense, and it just ends up smelling typical to me because every single Pakistani shop and Indian shop and even Middle Eastern shop, every single shop that I had gone to growing up had always had the smell in it. And rather than making me feel nostalgic because, you know, oh, it's reminding me of these fragrances from long ago, it wasn't. It's a scent that I encounter all the time, you know, this type of specific sweet incensey type of a smell. I encounter it a lot. So it's a very like commonplace scent for me and doesn't have, you know, the same allure or pull that it has for people who, you know, are not always around incense and this very specific type of scent that this gave me the first time around. This one, I actually told my brother to pack it up. I'm going to sell this one. But before he was able to, I asked him, I was like, I'm going to pick this up from you. I actually want to try it again. And I did, and I really loved it because it's a really nice, sweet, warm, smoky gourmand, but it's also quite translucent. It's not too dark, and so you can wear this scent and you don't have to wear it in the evenings or in the fall or winter for it to work. So I really like it because it gives me a very glamorous type of scent that I can actually wear in the summer and spring and just in the morning in general without being overwhelming. Plus the vanilla really starts to come through once it starts to dry down and becomes a lot more creamy and gets away from that smokiness to more of a smoked vanilla than rather just the incense. So Noir Femme Tom Ford is a redemption fragrance. It redeemed itself in my eyes. So yeah, we're all good now. We're all good with each other. Okay, last but not least is probably my most major redemption fragrance, and that is Orchid Veneer from Van Cleef & Arpels. The reason I'm saying it's the most major one is because this is my go-to comforting, laid back, relaxing, just it's like giving me a beautiful hug type of a fragrance. When I need a hug, when I've had a long day, when I want to just kind of lay back and relax, this is the scent that I go for. As you can see, I have quite the dent in it, even though I haven't had it that long. I mean, I've had it for it's not been too long and I already have quite the dent in it. I love this scent now. When I first got this, I was very bemused because I thought this was going to be more of a sensational type of fragrance. I thought it was going to be one that really like blows you away. Just like a bowling ball, it'll just, you know, knock you out. And it wasn't, because people would talk about this everywhere, every single forum that you go to. When you're looking for incredible vanilla fragrances or vanilla-centric fragrances, this one is always listed. So I thought it was going to be more of a sensational one. However, the beauty of this perfume is not in the way it surprises you or amazes you. It's in the way that it lingers and it comforts you. So the longevity of this one is actually really, really good. At first, I thought maybe it wasn't that great when I first got it, and that is because it is a softer fragrance. So I don't know, I just wrote it off as, oh, it has poor longevity, but it doesn't. The scent is definitely more of a skin scent, but it sticks around and you will get whiffs of it throughout the day or night or whenever you're wearing it. And it's just such a personal scent. It's just all for you. It's this beautiful touch of like cocoa vanilla powder and then a little bit of mandarin to kind of give it this sweet zestiness. The mandarin or whatever citrus is in here really kind of keeps this a little bit perky. So it is a very uplifting type of fragrance as well. That's why I find it very comforting. Not so much as like straight up energy, but more like uplifting. It kind of cheers you up when you're feeling a little bit down. So it's just the perfect composition. And I'm telling you, when I first got this and I sprayed it, I was so disappointed. I actually think the video in which I first ever discussed this, I was like, I have no idea why people are so obsessed with this one. And I actually do know quite a few people who just are not really taken by this fragrance. I have a few fragrance friends who recently tried this out and were like, this isn't for me, like this isn't special at all. And that's how I was in the beginning, but now it is very special and it is one that I reach for all the time when I need a little bit of love. All right, my loves, that is going to conclude my 5 redemption fragrances, but there are actually 10 redemption fragrances that are part of this entire video, this entire collaboration. If you want to see the other 5 redemption fragrances, you're gonna have to go over to Maite's channel, and I have her link down in the description box. Go over to her channel. She also has her video up with 5 redemption fragrances. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for sharing your valuable time with me here today as we sit and chat about perfume. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the concept and the theme. Please share redemption fragrances down in the comments, ones that really redeem themselves for you. And other than that, that's all I have for you. Have a good one, guys. Bye.